You're 3 trades deep into a losing streak. Your account is down. Every instinct in your body is screaming at you to cut your lot size in half, maybe even quarter it, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's smart risk management. But here's what nobody in the prop firm world is actually telling you. Reducing your lot size on a losing streak is often one of the worst things you can do for your account and your psychology. I'm going to break down exactly why that is, show you the math behind it, talk about the psychology, and give you a framework that will actually protect your funded account without sabotaging your ability to pass challenges and grow. Let's start with where this idea comes from, because the advice isn't completely wrong, it's just misapplied. The conventional risk management wisdom says, if you're on a drawdown, reduce your risk per trade. The idea is that you preserve capital, you reduce emotional pressure, and you give yourself a runway to recover. In a retail account, there's a valid argument for this. But in a prop firm challenge or funded account, the rules are different. The game is different. And that changes everything. Here's the reality of most prop firm setups. You have a maximum daily loss limit, often 4 to 5% of your account, a maximum total drawdown, typically 8-12% face, a profit target, commonly 8-10% to pass, phase 1, a time component, some firms have minimum trading days or expiry windows. When you reduce your lot size significantly during a losing streak, you create a problem that most traders never think about. Let me show you why. Let's do some real math. And I want you to follow this closely, because this is the part that changes how you think. Scenario A, consistent lot size through a losing streak. Let's say you're trading a $100,000 account. You risk 1% per trade, that's $1,000. Your average trade setup has a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 2. You hit a losing streak. 4 losses in a row. Loss 1, negative $1,000. Balance, $99,000. Loss 2, negative $1,000. Balance, $98,000. Loss 3, negative $1,000. Balance, $97,000. Loss 4, negative $1,000. Balance, $96,000. Now your next trade wins. You make $2,000. Balance, $98,000. 2 more wins, $100,000 and $102,000. You've recovered and are in profit. Total trades to recover and reach profit target, 7 trades. Scenario B, you cut lot size in half after 2 losses. Same account, same setup. But after 2 losses, you panic and cut to 0.5%, risk $500 per trade. Loss 1, negative $1,000. Balance, $99,000. Loss 2, negative $1,000. Balance, $98,000. You cut lot size here. Loss 3, negative $500. Balance, $97,500. Loss 4, negative $500. Balance, $97,000. Now your next trade wins but at half size. You make $1,000. Balance, $98,000. Win 2, plus $1,000. Balance, $99,000. Win 3, plus $1,000. Balance, $100,000. You're back to break even. But you need more wins now to reach your profit target, and you're still trading at half lot, so each win takes you further from target at a much slower rate. The asymmetry is the killer. You lost big, you're winning small. You've mathematically handicapped your own recovery. Some traders never increase their lot size back to normal because they become psychologically anchored to the smaller size. They're now operating at half their original capacity for the rest of the challenge. And here's the brutal truth. If your prop firm has a time limit or a minimum trading day requirement, you may actually fail the challenge, not because of losses, but because you can no longer hit your profit target in time. Now let's talk about what's really going on when you reduce lot size, because this isn't just a math problem, it's a psychology problem. When you're in a losing streak, your nervous system is in a threat state. Your brain is doing what it's designed to do, protect you. It's saying you are losing resources, reduce exposure. And from a survival standpoint, that makes complete sense. But trading is not survival. Trading is a probability game, and your nervous system doesn't understand probabilities. It only understands pain and safety. Here's what actually happens psychologically when you reduce lot size. You temporarily reduce anxiety, which feels like a solution, but is actually just avoidance. You reinforce the belief that the losing streak means something is wrong, when statistically, losing streaks are completely normal and expected. You create an internal conflict. Your system says, take this trade, but your reduced size says you don't actually believe in it. You train yourself to respond to drawdown with retreat, which is not a professional trading behavior. It's a fear-based behavior. Here's a question I want you to sit with. If your strategy has a 50% win rate and a 1 to 2 R, did the strategy change just because you had 4 losses? No. Statistically, you're actually closer to a run of winners. The edge hasn't disappeared, your confidence in the edge has disappeared. There's a massive difference between those two things. The professional mindset, professional traders, the ones who pass challenge after challenge and keep funded accounts, they understand that a losing streak is not a signal to trade differently. It's a signal to check their process. There's a difference. Ask yourself, am I deviating from my strategy? Am I overtrading? Am I entering outside my defined criteria? Am I chasing trades after a loss? If the answer to all of those is no, then you're just experiencing normal variance. And normal variance doesn't require you to change your lot size. It requires you to trust your edge. Now, I want to be fair here, because I'm not saying you should never reduce lot size. There are specific scenarios where reducing makes complete sense. Let me give you those. Scenario 1, you've identified a real strategy breakdown. If you look at your last 5-10 trades and you can clearly see that you're entering outside your rules, you're chasing, you're entering on emotion, you're ignoring your confluences, then yes, reducing size while you recalibrate is smart. But you should also be stopping trading entirely until you reset, not just trading smaller. Scenario 2, you're approaching your max drawdown limit. If you're at 6% drawdown and your firm's max is 8%, then of course you should be scaling back. You don't have room to absorb full-size losses without blowing the account. In this case, reducing is basic survival math, not psychology-driven. Scenario 3, market conditions have fundamentally changed. If your strategy is a trend-following strategy and you're in a high-chop, low-range environment, your edge is diminished. Reducing size to account for the lower probability of your setups working is a legitimate, data-driven decision. Notice what all 3 of these have in common. They are objective, criteria-based reasons, not feelings, not fear, not 4 losses in a row. If you can't point to a specific, objective reason to reduce lot size beyond I'm down or I'm scared, then you're letting emotion drive a process decision, and that will cost you more in the long run than any losing streak. Let me go one level deeper on the math, because I think this is the thing that will really make this click. We talked about the basic scenario earlier, but let's talk about what happens over an entire challenge at this pattern of behavior. Imagine you run a $100,000 account with a 10% profit target. You need to hit $110,000. You're risking 1% per trade. You have a strategy that wins 50% of the time with a 1 to 2 R. R, in pure expectancy terms, this is a profitable strategy. Over 100 trades, your expected gain is 50 wins at 2% equals plus 100%, 50 losses at 1% equals negative 50%, net plus 50% expectancy on risk. In real money terms, roughly $25,000 plus gain over 100 trades in ideal conditions. But every time you reduce lot size after a losing streak and then creep back up slowly, you clip your winners and take full-size losers on the way down. You're creating a systematic distortion in your equity curve. You're effectively buying high and selling low on your own position sizing. Think about that. You're sizing up when things are going well, or returning to normal size after wins, and sizing down when things are going badly after losses. The market doesn't care about your emotional state. If your edge is real, the trade on your 5th loss in a row has the same expected value as your first winner after a run of profits. All right, so if you're not going to reduce lot size, what do you do when you're in a drawdown? Here's a concrete framework. Step 1, define your rules before the losing streak happens. The most powerful thing you can do is set your rules in advance when you're calm and rational. Decide right now, at what objective threshold will you pause trading and reassess? For most prop firm accounts, I'd suggest stopping and reviewing if you hit 50% of your max daily drawdown in a single session. Not because it's a rule, because it's a trigger to check your process, not panic. Step 2, review your last 5 trades objectively. Pull up your journal. Were your entries valid by your rules? Were your stop losses correct? Were you trading your A+ setups or reaching for mediocre ones? If your process was clean, accept the variance and continue. If it wasn't clean, pause and reset, regardless of lot size. Step 3, use a breathing or reset protocol. This sounds soft. It's not. Top-tier traders, just like top-tier athletes, have pre-performance rituals that bring them back to baseline. A 5-minute walk, 4, 7, 8 breathing, journaling your thoughts. These tools short-circuit your nervous system's panic response so you can make decisions from a grounded state, not a threatened one. Step 4, respect your daily max loss as your true stop. Your daily max loss is the built-in lot size reduction mechanism of a prop firm account. Once you hit that number, you're done for the day. Period. That is the protection. You don't need to add a second layer of protection on top of it by shrinking your size, as long as you respect the built-in rule with absolute discipline. Step 5, keep a loss streak log. Track your losing streaks. Over time, you'll discover that your average losing streak is 3 to 5 trades. This data is incredibly powerful because when you're on trade 3 of a loss streak, you can tell yourself with evidence, statistically, this ends within the next 1-2 trades. You're not guessing, you're working from your own data. Here's what separates traders who stay funded from traders who keep failing challenges. It's not their strategy. Most struggling traders have a strategy that works. It's not their knowledge of markets. Most have consumed thousands of hours of content. It's their relationship with losing. If you fundamentally believe that a losing streak means something is broken, you will always self-sabotage. Because losing streaks are not a malfunction, they are a feature of every probabilistic system. Prop firms are not testing whether you can find perfect entries. They're testing whether you can execute your edge consistently under pressure. The drawdown period is the test. Maintaining consistent process through a drawdown is what gets you to a fully funded account. Every time you deviate, every time you cut size from fear, revenge, trade after a loss, skip a valid setup because you're scared, or start gambling your lot size based on recent performance, you're failing the psychological test, even if your trading knowledge is perfect. The traders who win at this game long-term are boring. They take every valid setup, they risk the same amount every time, they don't chase, they don't hide, they just execute, accept the result, and move to the next trade. Trade after trade, week after week. That's the standard. And it starts with trusting that a losing streak is not a reason to shrink. Reducing lot size on a losing streak creates a mathematical asymmetry that slows your recovery and can cost you the challenge. The psychological urge to downsize is a fear response, not a data-driven process decision. There are legitimate reasons to reduce size, but they're objective criteria, not feelings. Your daily max loss is already a built-in protective mechanism. Trust it and respect it. The professional standard is consistent execution, not reactive size management. If this video helped you think differently about how you manage your prop firm accounts, hit that like button and subscribe because every week I'm putting out content designed to help you trade with more clarity, more consistency, and actually keep your funded accounts. Drop in the comments, what's the longest losing streak you've pushed through without changing your lot size? I want to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.